Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Okay. All right. Tejveer, feel free to turn on mute for yourself. Wonderful. I'm so happy that lots of people have joined, and I'm very impressed by the audience. I would be going into more details about the course, about how it is structured, and I'll also give you a brief introduction about what is machine learning, what is AI, and what is the what is the LLM, and what is the agentic AI. All right. So let's get started. All right. Wonderful. I hope everyone can see my screen. Wonderful. Wonderful to see you, Elham from Iran. Great. Great. All right. So welcome to this introductory session from uh, the I welcome to this introductory session for postgraduate certificate program in Agentic AI and machine learning by E&ICT IIT Roorkee. All right. So the flow of the session is going to be introduction about the speakers, then CloudxLab, then we talk about E&ICT, and then we talk about the data science AI and applications, and a bit about the LLMs. Right. The typical workflow for building ML project and so on. So we'll talk about these. And before jumping there, a brief about E&ICT IIT Roorkee is that it's a joint initiative of IIT Roorkee and Government of India. It was established in 2016. It is focused on empowering students and professionals with skills in emerging technologies. The key domains includes AI, machine learning, data science, and so on. The courses designed are delivered by blend of academics and so on. So, a brief about IIT Roorkee. IIT Roorkee is an oldest institution in Asia, established in 1847. It offers bachelor's degree in 11, 11 courses and the postgraduate degree in 55 disciplines. Right. So every year there are like students from more than 50 countries join IIT Roorkee for full-time and short-term training courses. It's the so IIT for the people from other countries, IITs are like MIT of India. IITs are the top institution from from India. For example, the CEO of Google is an alumnus of IIT. So this is with IIT Roorkee. IIT Roorkee is the IIT in a place called Roorkee. IIT Roorkee is amongst the IITs is amongst IITs is number one when it comes to the citation per faculty. It's sixth amongst engineering colleges, and and overall it has got the ninth NIRF ranking in education. So it is a beautiful campus, and I'm the alumnus of IIT Roorkee. I graduated from IIT Roorkee in 2002, and it has been one of my the one of the most important most important thing I did in my career. So I graduated from IIT Roorkee in 2002. So there are some chat messages. All right. Yeah. I graduated from IIT Roorkee in 2002. I have worked on large-scale computing. I have worked with companies like Amazon, InMobi, and DE Shaw. I was an AI leader and have been in positions of software engineering at these companies. Those of you who do not know DE Shaw, right? So when I graduated from IIT Roorkee, I joined a company called DE Shaw. At DE Shaw, we did lots of work in large-scale computing before everybody else. Those who are not aware about DE Shaw, um, you must be knowing that Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, worked at DE Shaw. And DE Shaw is a very interesting company. We did lots of machine learning, lots of distributed computing, long before the term machine learning was coined. Long before big data was coined, we were working on the big data. That was DE Shaw. Uh, so After the show, I founded a software company called T-Bits. Most of the power plants in India are built using my software. Afterwards, afterwards, I worked with InMobi, building the largest recommendation system of the time, one of the largest. And then I worked with Amazon, Amazon's detail page from which you do the buy now for a phone. That is what I owned at Amazon. And I have worked largely into the AI and I've worked largely into machine learning, software engineering, and large-scale computing. I love explaining technologies, and that's why I started CloudxLab in in 2014 after leaving Amazon. All right. So CloudxLab is an AI company. We have multiple products. We have CloudxLab itself, it's a lab in the cloud, along with lots of other things for the learning. And then we have PyQuest. If those who are new to Python, I would request you to install PyQuest. It is a pretty good way to learn Python. As you, as you go around, you can just learn from phone. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty neat, actually. If you're an absolute beginner, I would recommend you to go through PyQuest. We have something called Turno AI. It's pretty good product. People are using it right now. The leaders in the industry are using Turno AI for doing their data science work. So that's Turno AI. The companies like top companies like GSK and top companies like Jidus, they are using Turno AI. CloudxLab offers a playground where you can basically submit your work and it checks. And it offers a cloud-based lab with the entire experience in the cloud. It also offers various other features like maintaining your general profile. And there is a dedicated job portal. There are exams and so on. Now, yeah, all right. Thank you, Shantanu. Your question about that you want to know about Turno? Yes, we will introduce Turno very soon. Okay. So I'll Turno is the example, on big example on agentic AI. So I would like to introduce that very soon. Okay, wonderful. Any questions so far? Let me just check. No questions. Yeah. All right. So there are a few things I want to introduce you to. One of the things that you need to know is what exactly is data science, right? So data science is a field, an interdisciplinary field that uses scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insights from many structured and unstructured data. So handling of data or doing the science on data is called the data science. Data science is a multidisciplinary uh, field whereby you have maths, statistics, computer science, information science, and domain knowledge, and it's an overlap of all of these. In this course, the one that we're talking about right now, we primarily talk about computer science, maths, statistics, and information theory or information science. So basically, the domain knowledge is something that you bring onto the table, and it's the focus that you have, right? So usually people, when they're choosing their project, they choose a project based on their own domain knowledge or domain of interest. And then we apply all of these things in order to solve their problems, right? So data science is an overlap of multiple things. That's why this course, most of the problems are a combination of maths, information theory, computer science, and statistics. Okay, so we will go into more details. Now, there is a term called machine learning, right? And it gets used very often. And we would assume that you all know what is machine learning later. So I want to introduce what exactly is machine learning. Machine learning, machine learning is the field of study that gives computers the ability to learn without explicitly programmed. Okay, so machine learning is that science is that are those algorithms, or machine learning is those bunch of algorithms, bunch of uh, you know uh, code or bunch of um, you can say mathematical formulations that turn that basically make it possible to learn from the data. So machines learning from data is what machine learning is. Machine learning is all about making the machine learn from the experience or the data. So that entire branch of computer science and maths and information theory and data science, that entire part where we make the machine learn from the data, right? A better way to express this, okay, better way to show you what it means by learning from the data, right? You must have seen ChatGPT or the any other LLM like Gemini or so on. So all of those things have learned from the data. People did not explicitly write that if someone says this, then say this. There is no, this is not hand coded. Instead, people created lots and lots of question answers or scraped the data from the internet and then trained the machine to on that data. So I mean, other than that one, this is the another example. For example, another example, like for example, playing Mario. How many of you have actually played Mario? Please put it in chat. Shantanu has done. Okay. Anybody else? The new generation wouldn't know. Okay. Rudy doesn't know. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. In the chat, please write. It's an addiction, yes. Uh, okay. Khadim also played, but never met the queen. Interesting. Interesting. All right. All right. So yes. So basically, let's look at can the can the machine learn to play Mario the way you learned, right? Can the machine itself learn to play, meaning learn to press those buttons which give it the best score, right? So someone actually hooked someone ran Mario inside a simulation, or you call them emulation, and then a computer program watching the screen and pressing the keys, and it tries to maximize the score. Okay, so let's take a look at this amazing experience. And yeah, so what you see is on the beginning days, the computer program is pressing keys randomly. Okay, you can see on the screen those, right? It just basically here it shows the key presses, and it just keeps pressing those keys and going nowhere. Initially, it is just doing this, right? So basically, by the way of playing, the computer program is gathering data. Data means the captures of the screen and what keys were pressed, what happened, all of that. So captures of the screen and the key presses. So it played again and again, again and again. In the beginning, it did not do good. After a while, after lots of plays, it started doing better. You can see it just moving forward for whatever reason, it's just looking backwards. And then it is just stuck here. Now, few more weeks, Mario learns, like the program learns to play Mario. So you can see this. Yeah, that's it. You can see it is playing really well. Okay, so it's able to do you think he'll able to cross this? Yeah. So it's basically learning to play. Yes. Okay. So it's not having any problems at all. You can see it's playing better than me right now. Okay. After a few more weeks of playing, it is more than an expert. You're going to see something amazing here. You will see Mario doing tricks. What was that? Do you notice this? The moment Goomba is coming down, starts moving downwards. It fools, the program fools, the program fools the game program fools the game into thinking that Mario jumped on Goomba rather than Goomba jumping on it. So it figured out the bug. The computer program figured out the bug in the game. Now, this is extremely important to notice that if somebody coded it by hand, they will never be able to code things which they don't know. And here it was discovered from the data, the 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 computer program learned from the data and basically figured out a bug in the game, right? And that's the most powerful thing. Why ChatGPT or AI is able to answer questions now, while the other software previously were not able to answer the questions, right? Because earlier people were writing the logic by hand. It, this is the sentence, this is a noun, this is a verb, this is adjective. If noun comes before this, and so on and so forth. So people were hand coding all of these now, and basically people were, all the sentence correctors and everything. They used to be, yeah. Sorry. Uh, yeah. So Like here, what you see is the AI, or you can say computer program, learned to play Mario by observing, observing and playing by itself. And that's essentially, by playing it, get the data. From data, it learned and then again played using that learning strategy, and then gathered the data, played again, and then it kept on becoming better and better. So you will see another bug being exploited by this program. What was that? No idea. How did it do? Now, you'll see another sign of intelligence. Okay. The When the program is not able to win, it pauses the game. Okay. It pauses the game. And that's the beauty about learning from the data. Starts to mimic the behavior of people. Like I remember, like my cousins, when I'm playing the game and they're not able to win, they will spoil the game or pause the game and move on. So the same way the program is pausing the game when it's not able to win, right? At least that way it can maintain the score. So machine learning is what makes it possible to do all this magic. AI has been like people have been trying to create AI for very long time. But previously, when we tried to create AI, and it failed miserably because people in the previous way, when the AI failed badly, and the entire AI winter, so-called AI winter, started. The reason it failed was that we were writing the logic by ourselves. We were hand coding the logic. Now we basically make the knowledge automatically extracted from the experiences, from the data, right? And that's the only reason we are able to create AI now, and we could not do it previously. That's the that's the biggest difference. So machine learning is what is making it possible to create AI. We have tried to create AI by rules, by creating logic, by hand coding it, but it never worked. It never worked. We could not write the logic for all scenarios. So what exactly is AI? AI is not a tool. AI is not a particular algorithm. AI is an objective. The objective that involves creating intelligence, creating intelligence like human or animals. It is the objective. It is an objective. It is not a particular tool. To achieve AI, we use rule-based programming where we write the logic by ourselves. If this, do that. And we basically also utilize the machine learning. Machine learning are those set of algorithms that learn the rules, learn the logic automatically. They learn that logic or the rules automatically based on the past experience. So that's those algorithms or those strategies are called machine learning. As part of machine learning, there's something called deep learning that involves those algorithms. So deep learning is a part of machine learning that involves those algorithms which basically are related to which are based on deep neural network, meaning just like humans have neural network, similar to that, people have created the the artificial neural network, and that's called those set of algorithms are called deep learning. Deep learning, success in deep learning is why we are able to create true AI now as compared to earlier time where we were hand coding the rule-based programming, right? So to achieve AI, we might need hardware, we might need, if we are creating a robot to solve the industrial problem, then we will need hardware, we'll need robots, we'll need the sensors, we'll need all the IoT, right? So AI is an objective. To achieve that, we use rule-based programming, machine learning, deep learning, and the hardware. So software plus hardware, we basically utilize each and everything to build AI, right? So you must have heard about generative AI. So what exactly is generative AI? Generative AI is like what you use, like ChatGPT or those LLM that create images or that create the text, right? So this is not something new to you. I'm sure that all of you are using ChatGPT or the LLM now. So you can basically achieve lots of things with the AI today, right? Now, if you think about it, like how does the ChatGPT or anything work? They work by utilizing something called large language model. Large language model is a model that predicts the next word. So this is your question, and one word at a time it produces internally, and then assembling all the answers is what the chat GPT or kind of systems do. A large language model using the neural network, using this machine learning model, it has learned to predict the next word from the phrase. Okay, just like autocomplete keyboard, you have the keyboard on your in your phone, right? And when you type something, it gives you the next word suggestion. So just like that, large language model was trained to predict the next word given a very long context or long question or long prompt. So, for example, we had the data from the internet containing, remember that when wherever your heart is. So we said that, okay, for this input, we should get heart as output. So on this input and output pairs, we trained the model such that it predicts the heart. Okay. So remember that wherever your heart is, you will find treasure, right? So we basically trained to do it one word at a time. Okay. So this LLM or the large language model is predicting one word at a time. Okay. And we assemble that and put it as a full sentence. Make sense, everyone? All right. So this is large language model. Okay. Now the other thing that I want to introduce you to is the agentic AI. So so the way ChatGPT or Gemini is using machine learning to produce one word at a time, right? And then it's producing the full out answer. It's producing this full answer. Okay. It's able to, right? Similar to that, it has been trained to give the answer to the questions, right? So, what is the capital of India? The answer is New Delhi is the capital of India. So, basically, when we think of it like the question answers, that is also nothing but autocomplete, right? So, like for example, we are saying question is this and answer, and then what is the next word? It says New Delhi, and then it keeps on giving the next token or next word onwards. Now, so we got the large language model, or you can say Q&A models, which are able to give the answer to the questions, right? Now, using this, people have created very, very complex systems that can achieve a lot of intelligence. One such thing I want to show you is, say, Turno AI, right? Turno AI. And basically, what Turno AI does is if you go to, let's say, if you sign up, I'm just trying to show you, okay, right? So here, I'm saying, here, I'm saying that, um, okay, um, find sum of, okay, uh, using Python code, find the uh, first 20 prime numbers, okay, and then calculate their sum. Now, this answer to this question, it won't okay, it won't just answer autocomplete it. Instead, it will write Python code and then basically run that Python code, and it's going to give you the answer by multiple steps, right? So instead of asking LLM to just answer the question directly, what we are doing underneath is that first, we are generating the thought. We are asking the LLM that to answer this question, come up with a thought. So the LLM says that I'm going to do this, right? And then here it has also generated the code. So instead of answering this question directly, what is the total, what is the right? What is the total of sum of first 20 prime numbers, right? If you have to say sum of first 20 prime numbers, okay? And if you ask that in say ChatGPT, what is going to happen? If you ask it here, okay, it has done some good job, okay? Sum of 20 prime numbers whose last digit is 1. Let's see. They've also started doing this by using the same similar strategy what Turno is doing. So this is agentic AI. Agentic AI involves taking multiple steps. So instead of answering the question just like that, right, or just auto completing the next word, instead of that, it basically breaks it down into parts. So it first generates the Python code. So it produces the Python code to do something. And then and then our system runs the Python code and then sends back the answer. And then the LLM answers the full question. Okay. So basically, this is a multi-step process. Okay. So so agentic AI is utilizing the LLM multiple times as multiple steps. Okay. An idea of all the steps is also coming from AI. So the first step is to figure out what next step to take, and then it basically breaks down the question into the strategy. Then it runs all of those parts, observes if it has answered the question. If it has, then it basically sends it to the user. So this is called agentic AI, whereby you have multi-step process. You have multi-step process, and basically, when people were earlier solving all the problems like customer support agent using LLM and so on and so forth, they were using normal AI. But now, s- in order to answer the user's question really well, you got to break it down into step and get the mm, various steps executed in a sequence or parallel, and then get the answer. So uh, this is utilizing the normal AI or generative AI. This is utilizing generative AI in multi-step process, and that's what is called agentic AI. Today, every system in organizations, whether it's clinical trials, whether it's in pharma industry, whether it's um, in customer support, in basically data science, everywhere, agentic AI is used. Agentic AI is basically utilizing the AI or large language models in multi-step process. Like here, in order to answer this question, it first wrote code, then it ran the code, then it answered the question. Okay, so essentially uh, that's called essentially that is what is called as the agentic AI, right? If let's say if basically some tool doesn't use the agentic AI underneath, it's going to hallucinate. It's going to hallucinate, and it's going to hallucinate really bad. Okay, hallucinate means it will just say something, uh, some random things which does not make sense, right? Just like if I ask you to do this, if I ask you some question and you are forced to answer from the memory without doing the maths, you will just hallucinate, right? You'll just say something. You won't be able to do it in your head. You need a calculator. You need a way to, evaluate something, right? So if I don't give you the calculator and ask you to do some maths, some computation, and you're supposed to do it from the memory without using any calculator or something, you're not going to achieve a good result. Similarly, in case of AI, what people have done is they have provided these tools or agents to the AI, where AI decides what tool to use when. Whether you want to use the calculator, you want to use the compiler, you want to look up the database, you are going to look up the file, and so on and so forth. So you give all these tools to the AI. AI decides which one to use when, and then basically gives the answer. So this is called the agentic AI. All right, let me take the questions now. Go ahead with your questions. A question from Sujit is that I'm a business analyst in IT. Would learning agentic AI and machine learning course will be worthwhile for my daily work? Of course, there's no doubt about it, Sujit. Or would an executive course in applied AI be more suitable for my background? Okay, so yes, I would say that aim to aim to learn programming. Okay, aim to learn programming. That would be my first strong suggestion to you. Okay, no matter whether you have done coding in past or not, you would be able to learn coding and spend some time in learning that. Okay, a question from Ravi is, as you have told LLM will learn next word internally, how is it able to do it? What's happening internally to generate next word? And how does it know when to stop generating? Good question, very good question. So, okay, so this is a very, very interesting and hard question. Okay. So you can see my screen, everybody. I'm just putting the question here. Okay. Everyone, you can see my screen. As you have told, LLM will learn next word internally. How is it able to do? What is happening internally to generate next word? Okay. So the second question is, these are two questions and they are pretty interesting question. Thank you, Rajat. Okay. All right. All right. So if you are given, I'll just break down the question into extremely simple one, right? If you're given the data that, right, let's say this is the data that is given. X goes to a system, right? And right, and Y comes out, okay? And you're given X comma Y, right, is given like when X was 1, Y was 2, right? And when X was 2, Y was 4. When X was 3, Y was 6. Okay. And when X would be 1.5, what will be Y? Quickly. When X was 1, Y was 4. Oh, sorry, 1, Y was 2. X was 2 and Y was 4. X was 3, Y was 6. So exactly, right? So the answer is Y will be 3. Correct? Y will be 3. How did you do it? We basically said that, okay, Y would be something multiplied with X and something added to it. Okay. And you basically try to figure out those values of A and B. Okay, so these A and B are called the parameters, or you can say the machine learning model. We basically learn, and this is our past experience data. So from this, we basically figured out input and output pairs, and we figured out that the Y seems to be something multiplied with input, right? So y is equal to twice of x, and that's it. So we figured that out. Okay. So we like the machine learning algorithm, what will they do? They'll say, okay, y is something multiplied with x and something added. And when they fit that thing into the data, we'll figure out a is 2, b is 0. Okay. And that's it. So this is extremely simple example to express that we have input and output pairs, and we are training this model a simple straight line. Training means figuring out the value of A and value of B, meaning figuring out this relationship in the data. I hope this makes sense to you, everyone. All right. So now, in case of LLM, the X is right? X is the data from all over the internet, and Y is the next word. So we took the data, we broke it down into phrase, next word, phrase, next word, phrase, next word. The, lots of examples we created, and then we came up with some very complex mathematical equation having billions of numbers, like billions of A's and B. Here there are only two parameters, A and B, right? And we figured those values of A and B from this data, past data. But in case of ChatGPT, there are billions and billions of B kind of things that it figures out. There are so many weights, we call them weights to figure it out. So essentially, figuring out that input-output correlation using the mathematical strategies is what is machine learning. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Now, your question, next part is extremely interesting. It's very important that you ask these questions. Everybody must ask questions in my class. My strong suggestions, like this is the only theory class you will have. This is the only theory class where I'm speaking and you are listening. In real classes, in the other classes, when we are in the course, all of you will have to work with me. Okay, I will be giving very simple exercises that you will be working on, and then I'll help you solve, build these algorithms. Most of these algorithms, everybody builds in my class. Okay, my class is not a theory class. It's a class where it's more like a gym class where you come and do exercises. All right. And all right. The next session is next week, Premjit. The course is already started. First session is done. Next week, we are starting with the next chapter, and we are going to work on that. All right. Now, the next a very important thing is how does it know when to stop generating? This is a very, very interesting question. This is a very interesting question, and I want to emphasize on that. So, what people have done is, right, they took this sentence, okay? They took this sentence, let's say this one, okay? They took the sentence from the internet. Let's say this is the sentence given to you. Remember that wherever your heart will, uh, remember wherever your heart is, you will find treasure. Okay. And then you have here, okay, it's called end of text. Let's call it end of text. Okay. So they put a special character here saying saying that the this is the end. Okay. So when basically we train the model that when somebody says this, reduce, and so when somebody feeds this sentence, model should say end of EOT. Okay, so let me again put it very clearly. So let's say this is the data that you got from the internet, or the LLM got it from the internet. I mean, LLM companies got from the internet. So now they want to break it down into X and Y. X and Y as in first, let's say when somebody says remember, say that. Okay. And when somebody says remember that, right? We say wherever. Okay. And then when we say, all right, let me further. So when you, okay, like this. So when you say this sentence, we should have end of the text. Okay. Right. So, okay, let me just show you. Okay. I'm just creating this. Um, all right. I'm just trying to. You see that? So we got that sentence from internet, and what we have done is we broke it into this X and Y pairs. Okay, this is the input X, and the thing on your right is basically Y. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. So we broke it down. This this sentence we got from the internet, and we put a special word after the sentence saying EOT, end of text. Okay, so this is your X and this is your Y. Okay, so for this input, we expect this output. For this input, we expect this output. And for this input, we expect for this whole input from here to here, right? We expect this output. And for this input, we expect end of the text. So our model should say that this is end of the text. So that's how the LLM knows that now I have to stop talking, right? So basically, the moment the LLM says EOT, the we stopped asking questions from then onwards. Otherwise, we keep on basically we ask, let's remember, it will say that. When we put remember that, it produces next word and next word and next word and next word. And then when it says EOT, we say, okay, we are no longer asking it again. All right. I hope that makes sense to all of you. Okay. So it is the intelligence of LLM that tells that you are supposed to say stop now. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. There are very interesting questions. Let me just take those questions. I'm going up. Right. A question from Jiva is right. I hope this made sense to all. So yeah. All right. Yeah. Let me let me answer these questions. These are very, very interesting questions. Very interesting questions. Okay, let me go slow. So the okay. So when numbers are participating, there is something where calculation is involved to figure out the next number. What about words? If I ask, how are you? Then AI would reply, hi, how are you? How is your day, right? So question, very interesting question that I took an example where numbers were involved, right? Numbers were involved. How is it doing with the how is it doing with the words, right? So every word gets converted into an array of numbers. Okay, like something like let's say apple is 0, let's say 1 and 0, 0, 0, 0, and 10,000 zeros. Okay, so think of whole dictionary as array. Okay, and the word that is marked as apple is 1. Okay, so each word is getting translated into a big array of numbers filled with 0 except for one word. So this is basically, you can call it one hot encoding um, scheme for words. So what we do is We take the word, take each word, convert to an array of numbers, and then we do the maths on these numbers. Okay, that's exactly how it happens. And when it comes to this is for the input, this is for the input. And for the output, okay, system produces 10,000 probabilities. It produces a list of numbers, 10,000. And whichever is the maximum, we pick that word. Okay, so we convert the entire of the text thing into numbers. For input, we convert each word into a array of 10,000. Output, instead of saying that the output is essentially, again, 10,000 numbers being produced by the system. And we pick the one which has got the highest probability. Okay, so we'll study all of this in more details in the course. All right, very good questions, very good questions. Okay, all right. So, so for simplification, I have said multiple things, and I would like to, you know, um, basically fix few things. Question is, what exactly is a token? Why Claude says running out of tokens, right? So first, people were doing character-wise predictions. Okay. Instead of generating next word, people were generating one character at a time. Okay. When we people built the AI first, they were doing one character at a time. Okay. That was very inefficient. That was very inefficient. To produce a sentence, it used to take a lot of time and it did not work well. Then some people said, okay, we will do word-wise. Okay, word-wise, meaning system will predict the next word to speak. The problem with word-wise was it was not it was not able to create new words. Okay, when it did character-wise, it was just too it took a lot of time for it to produce an answer, and it was not very efficient. When we did word-wise, we couldn't ask the LLM or such a system to come up with a new word that suggest me a new domain name for this, right? It couldn't because it was always producing word. Okay. So people said, okay, let's just do something in between. Okay. That's where couple of letters that usually come together were marked as token. Okay, so people looked at the entire data set, said that, okay, Q and U always come together. Let's create a token for them. Similarly, all other things that are coming together, we basically come up with a token for that. And then that became basically uh, the input is a list of token, basically convert the sentence into list of tokens that goes into the system and so on. So you can say that a token is something between character and the word. Something like half of the word or one third of a word is a token. That those characters that usually come together, you just mark them one token. And that's how all LLMs today, they follow that. Okay, I hope this makes sense to everyone. These are very good questions. I hope you guys are making note of it. Okay, all right. I'll just save it as a question answers. All right. A question from Rajesh is, one thing is completing with the answer, and another thing is suggesting different answers while using Gen AI. When do we face this and why? One thing is completing with an answer. Another thing is suggesting different answer using Gen AI. Yeah, basically, suggestion of a question, a clarifying question is also an answer, right? Clarifying question is also an answer. Okay, I hope that makes sense. A question from, very interesting question from a, a clarifying question is also an answer. Okay, there's a question from Rahul. Can a model fail to generate end of the text token? And if so, how do inference engines handle this scenario? Yes, very good question. What if there is a scenario that a model fails to produce the end of text token, right? In such scenario, they have a hard limit. Okay, there is hard you call it token size window limit, right? In the, let's say, if the answer keeps going and going and it doesn't produce EOT, it would say, okay, done. I'm just terminating this. Okay. That's basically what everybody has built as protection into the LLM. Okay. A question is, where can we find the syllabus? You can just go to CloudxLab. Okay. And basically go to the learner portal and you'll see these programs. We are talking about this particular program. Okay. So take a look at that program. Okay. And that will give you the, okay. Now, wonderful, wonderful set of questions. All right. Thank you, Tezvi, for sharing that. All right. A question from Jiva is, those are called embedding. Uh, Here, what I said here, they're not embeddings. It's a good observation, Jiva. There is something called embeddings, which is basically array of numbers. Here, it's called one hot encoding because we don't know. We don't know yet. We are building the model. We are building the model. We don't have any model, right? So to build, in the beginning, what people did was they took each word, gave gave them converted them um, into uh, this one hot encoding, right? Imagine that you have only let's say a ABC in a column, right? ABC in a column, A B C in a column. So what people would do is they will call this 100. This is called, let's say, 0 1 0, and then this is called 0 comma 0 comma 1, right? And if again, let's say C again comes in, what will that be? C will be this. So to convert the text into bunch of numbers, the one hot encoding is the right way to do. Okay. That's a very important thing. It took me a while to, like when I was starting with the machine learning, I did not know like what to do in case of text, what to do. And the idea was that you basically convert it into some form of bunch of numbers. So we'll study a lot of this in the course. How do you turn every problem into bunch of numbers? Okay. All right. Okay. Let me go back to, yeah. There are very important questions. These are really important questions. So I'll just put them. Okay. So yes, this is answered. Now, next question is how context is extracted during tokenization, right? So, and how to ensure the reduced context prediction or increase context for sentence completion. For example, reduce context. Remember that, remember whenever it rains, use shelter. Yeah. So, how the context extracted during tokenization? You basically, whatever is the content that is there, you break it down into these tuples. And when you have the tuples of question answer, just like what I showed above, right? Just like this. Essentially, in the same way, you basically break down each and everything. Okay, we would be building a detailed our own LLM as part of the course. In case you want to take a look at, you know, examples of examples of examples of the examples of the chat GPT, like if you have to build your own chat GPT kind of thing, you can take a look at here, right? Right? So take a look at if you are really interested in building your own model, this would be a good strategy to start. Okay, so this gives you a very good starting point, and we'll be discussing this. This question is complex, and I would like to take, you know, I would like to basically, you know, take some time during the course to answer this. Basically, everybody will get really benefited if you if we basically work on it rather than just talking, because right now I can say lots of things. Okay, so I would say that if you're interested, take a look at that. All right, moving on. Next is, why do modern languages use tokens instead of predicting character by character or word by word? I think this is answered, right? This is answered above, right? The character by character, okay, I'll just move. Yeah, I'll just move it here. So this is exactly what I answered. So character by character was basically taking too much time, okay, and was not able to do a really good job. And word by word had its limitations. All right, wonderful question, Sandra. Yeah. Okay. How AI agents are different from agentic AI? Agentic AI essentially it's a confusing thing for people. So AI agents and agentic AI, it's the same thing. Okay. So agentic AI is essentially using agents to achieve AI. Okay. You using agents to achieve AI. Okay. That's exactly what the AI is all about. Okay. So agentic AI, basically the flow looks like this. You have a question. Okay. You have a question that, and right, you usually say that things like this. Like if you take a look at, let's say one of the agentic system that we built. Okay. So take a look at, in case you are interested in understanding what's going on, if you want to see how to build an agent like what we are doing in Turno, right? So you can take a look at, let's say, Agentic. Okay. This is an open source thing that we built. It's basically similar to the Claude code. It is, the way it works is, if you take a look at right here, okay. So here, you see, what we are asking the AI is that we are telling it, you are agentic, you are autonomous coding agent, you help engineers with writing, reading, blah blah. And then we are telling it that you do one of these things. Okay. We are telling that this is your current working directory, come up with the answers. And we also tell that your ability includes this, right? So you can, like we say that you can generate, right, one of the following answers. Okay. One of the following answers in the format: ask user a clarifying question. Okay. Or code, here goes your code. Or you can you can say, um, like, ask user and code, and you can say that, okay, I am, like, respond. Okay. So we basically are telling AI, like, essentially, when you're building an agentic AI, what you are doing is you are asking the LLM what to do. You have a problem statement from to solve. You ask LLM, do you want do you want to ask a clarifying question to the user? Do you want to write code, or do you want to respond to the user? Okay, okay, or need data. Okay. So the LLM will tell us that to answer this question, I'm going to first need data, or I may ask, the LLM might say that ask user this. So we make the LLM decide what to do. Okay. And we basically keep on doing that until it says that respond to the user. Okay. So the LLM itself says, okay, I'm done. This is the answer. Right. So essentially, instead of we checking the LLMs again and again, that for this, tell me what code to write. It says that this is a code that you should write. Then we run that code. Then we get an error. We paste it to the chat window saying, we got this error. Now what to do? It say that do this. So all of this entire process, we basically automate in agentic AI. In agentic AI, multi-step, we basically call the LLM multiple times, do those things what LLM is doing, saying, and then we keep on feeding it the answers. It keeps on doing it for ourselves. It's like our program chatting with AI and doing the things that AI is suggesting. All right. So that's agentic AI. So I think you should take a look at this one. That will give an answer to you. Okay. Wonderful. And yeah, I hope that makes sense. In case you are trying to build a chat agent, you can take a look at this repository that we have built in past. All right, I'll just show you the repository of the previous the course that is done. All right, not done AI. The repository will be in CloudxLab. Okay, so you can take a look at the repository from so as part of this course, everybody has to build their chat agent. Okay, so here is one of the chat agent that people build. Okay, so it basically, this is the prompt. It says you can do one of the, we basically are asking AI, you can do one of the following: either answer to the user, ask user, read file, list directory, and so on. And this is the user's question. So the AI responds with one of these things. We do that, and then we give the feedback to AI, and then that loop continues. So take a look at this one. That'll give you a good perspective. Okay, so I'm just putting these links in the chat for everybody. All right, host and panelist. Why can somebody? All right, so you can take a look at right, this one. Tejveer, can you copy paste these links in the chats? Somehow I'm not able to do.
One second. No, Sandeep, you'll be able to.
What?
Yeah, you will be able to do that.
Okay. Oh, thank you. So these are some of the repositories that I've talked about. All right. Wonderful questions. Let me go up. Is there any question? Okay. I think OHE does not work for LLMs as it produces orthogonal vectors, which will result in sparse. So when we are feeding the inputs to the LLM, right, and you don't have an embedding models, people go for some form of, right, some form of one-hot encoding. Even those embedding layers that are there in TensorFlow, they all they all start with one-hot encoding. If you take a look at the embedding layers of PyTorch or TensorFlow, you will find that internally they are essentially taking the input in the form of the one hot encoding and turning immediately that into the other values. So you are right. The one hot encoding produces a very large vector, and therefore that needs to be turned into a meaningful vector using a neural network. All right. I hope it makes sense. All right. Okay. So question from Sujit is, which agentic AI framework will be covered in the course? Will we learn frameworks such as LangChain, LangGraph, CrewAI? So one of the things that we realize is that, very good question. I think this is a very good question. I'll just put it. Okay. So which agentic AI framework will be covered in the course? Simple answer is the course is about building the psychology to deal with AI and building your own agent. So we will not be using any of these frameworks, right? We will be building our own agent. This one is the place where you should take a look at inspiration, right? So, or this one, this one is a example where we have, you know, the entire thing. So here we are not using any framework, okay? Because what we found is that when people were tied to the frameworks, and the framework changed, their education became useless. Therefore, we go with creating by hand, and then once you are clear, like this is how you create by hand, then you can move to any of the framework. Just like 10 minutes for you. So no framework as such. Okay. We create our own system. Okay. We don't want you to tie down to our framework or so on. So we'll be using Python. We'll be using um, basically the API call to OpenAI or the Claude, and that's it. Okay. Rest, I think you can just build. Once you are clear about the psychology, you can just ask Claude to build the entire thing for you, and then you don't have to code anything there. Okay. The most important part is in order to solve problems, your understanding your understanding of psychology of AI need to be very clean. Need to be very clean. If you do not have the understanding of psychology, you won't be able to achieve anything with LangChain, LangGraph, this, that, nothing. I have seen this in past, and so that's why we have kept it that we basically hand code everything initially, and once you have built the psychology, we basically move on to any of the framework that's needed. And most of my team usually works with the companies like GSK and lots of other industry. So we have a large team in AI. And what we found is that that companies move between frameworks very often. So no need to get associated with any of the frameworks. Okay. Now moving on. Is it possible to automate significant portion of businesses work using AI? For example, yeah, exactly. Signif yes, like data science, the entire data science can be done with Turno very quickly. Turno, Claude, or these systems can achieve all of these very quickly. Okay. Yeah. So you can do all of this. You can interact with all the systems, whether it's Jira or anything, by using tools like Turno or Claude or Agentic or these systems. Okay. And again, here I'm not going to teach you to use Claude or something. I'm going to teach you how to build Claude kind of a thing. Okay, this course, when we say Agentic AI course, here you can take a look at this one and you will know that everybody in this course, like the previous batch, is building their analytical customer support agent for credit card company or like bank and like so on. So they're building their own agent. So everybody as part of the course is supposed to build their agentic AI solution to answer users' question based on their data. Okay, and I'm so happy to see everybody's performance in the course that it kind of does a lot of detailed analysis of the user's question and basically goes through various data sets to answer user's question as well as writes the code. It uses calculator, uses database to answer user's question. And that's very powerful. So that's what people built, everybody. I hope this makes sense. All right. Now, there is a very interesting question. What kind of memory architecture do you believe is most important for long-running agent vector memory, episodic memory, or structured knowledge graph? Take a look at the way we have implemented Agentic, the thing that I mentioned above. You'll get your answer. So something that Claude Code uses, we are using the similar thing. Okay, so take a look at that. I would like you to take a look at the agentic, right? The agentic is this one, right? This is the Take a look at the agentic. You will get your answer. Okay. I would like to have you, we would discuss these things. It's a very important, hard question. We would discuss this in much more detail during the class. All right. All right. So yes, we are running out of time. So we will, this, Ajiba, again, could you explain the ChatGPT works and the architecture? So I think this would take a lot of time. We'll discuss it in much more detail during the class. Okay. When we build our own LLM, at that time, you will have a lot of thought clarity. In the meantime, in case you want to understand how an LLM is built, so if you want to understand how agentic AI works, take a look at the agentic code. If you want to learn how LLMs are built, take a look at this code. Okay, so we will do it much more detailed during the class. Okay, so yes, a question from Muthu is that at the core level, what are the components that we need to consider building building agents, yes, there are lots of things. Okay, there are lots of things that are there as part of the building a powerful agent, right? And slowly it starts with number one, ask clarifying questions. So we basically have give three tools to it in the beginning: respond, ask clarifying question, and then read file, list directory. And then we give it more and more tools, more and more tools, and then there is a problem of context overflow. You need to summarize it. Then comes the memory and so on. So this one will give you an idea that what components are really needed. Okay, what components are really needed. All right. So it's slowly we build the entire thing. Okay. So like for example, subagents. Subagents are something that are really, really powerful in saving the context window. So So take a look at that, and I think that would answer your question in much more detail. Okay. All right. Where can this Q&A be found? I'm yet to figure out where should I keep it. All right. All right. Wonderful. Uh, Wonderful set of questions. I really loved your questions. I'm looking forward to this. Okay. Let me see the Q&A window. Yes. Then Raz, it's a hard question. I would like you to go through the Agentic repository. These links I've already shared in the chat. Okay. All right. This is also answered. So agentic AI does not require access to other software. It can be used, can just use the steps within the same. So a question is, agentic AI does not require access to other software. It can be just many steps within the same software. Uh, I think we're confusing it a lot, right? So one is using the agentic AI, other is building the agentic AI. When you're building an agentic AI system, such as something that answers your customer's question, you will have to provide it the access to your data, access to customers' information, and it needs to access all of them. All right. This is also answered, Sujit. Good questions. Uh, Question from Sujit is, in many organizations, client environments have strict security policies that restrict access to external AI tools, browsers, or applications. If such restrictions exist, how can we practically use agentic AI or agentic AI tools in our day-to-day work? So I think that is something that organizations will come up with policies. There are the open router kind of things that provide the access to any AI via the open router. So that is something that you need to discuss with the enterprises, right? When enterprises do not want you to access out a particular AI, you can't. Okay. So better thing would be that if you are planning to use it for personal use, you use it on your personal machine. In case of organization, if you want to access that, then you have to work with the security policies of the organization. Now, every organization is coming up with a new set of practices where they have the guidelines, they have the reasonable restrictions. So I think that would be my answer. A question from Muhammad is, what is the what's the functions agentic AI and machine learning, right? So machine learning, we learn from the data to achieve something, right? And agentic AI, we build the agents. We build the agents in this course in order to solve problems using AI. A question is, are Snowflake using database MySQL in agentic AI systems, right? Or in I'm not clear about the question. So basically, all of right, agentic AI tools, they would connect to the database. They would have to connect to the database and so on. So take a look at the Turno AI, the way it works. All right. Wonderful set of questions. Okay. So the question, very good question. Thank you, Anupam. Okay. Question is, what does the course flow look like? First, so the way the course flow will look like is that we'll start with Python, maths, and basically then from there, Python maths, we will move on to uh, building right, agentic AI systems. And then we will move on to machine learning and then deep learning. And that's it. So that's the course flow. Okay. So this course is not about using AI. This course is about building AI, right? Okay. So here to build agentic AI system, you don't need the knowledge of deep learning, machine learning. That's why as soon as we are done with Python, we immediately move on to building the agentic AI systems. Okay. So, and then we move on to the machine learning and deep learning. A question of Kadam is that in IT, considering AI down the lane, what type of job roles should be preferred? People right now, what I very clearly see is that there will be many different kind of roles. It's a very good question and a very hard question, right? And I would, right? So there will be many new jobs would be coming in, right? The jobs like the agentic AI architect, right? So basically, all the people who have been having the customer support agent and so on, they will basically move on to building the agentic AI systems inside. Okay, or you can say the they all are called like AI engineers. Okay, you will start seeing these titles very soon. So AI engineer is somebody here, like somebody who understands Python, then knows how to get a problem solved by using the agentic way. Okay, by using the agentic way. And right. So and of course you should know like how to use Cloud Code, how to use Turno, how to use these kind of systems in order to achieve the outcome, right? So there will be these new kind of roles or jobs that would come into market and they will dominate the industry. I'm seeing that change happening right now. Okay, so there will be more and more jobs coming into in the AI phenomena. You need to know how it works. You need to know how agent works. You need to know how machine learning works. You need to know how the how the how you need to know the psychology of an LLM when you are working with them. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, somebody is saying that I'm doing MTech CSE with the specialization in AI and software engineering. What is the roadmap you should follow in next 2 years? So, I would say, right, okay, just take a look at the curriculum of our course. Go to, let's say, CloudxLab here. Take a look at the curriculum. That will give you the holistic picture. This is the curriculum you actually must follow. Okay, this, right, whether you join my course or not, you must follow this curriculum, the one that is mentioned here. Okay, the one that is mentioned here. Okay, so you study the foundation, you should be very good at Python and these basic things. Then you should be good with the agentic AI, and then you should be good with machine learning and deep learning. Okay, all right. So this is the, yeah. So that's basically, yeah. The most important thing all of you must do is instead of memorizing a solution, a technique, you all, like the way the course works is that the way the course works is that you build solutions by hand. Don't buy in, like very, very important. Like in all of these classes that you will see, my students in the class, they build things. You don't use a particular tool, particular library. You do not become victim of a particular sales pitch by some company. Instead, you'll know how to build those softwares. That is the whole idea of the course. You, from ground up, slowly, one step at a time, you build things. Even like the first chapter of this course was about learning to count, right? Now, that's a psychology that everybody must have, right? The best way to learn the agentic AI was to build a agent, and that has turned out to be so powerful and successful that most of my students, they have hardly finished like one fourth of the course, and they are already getting job offers. They're already doing pretty well in their career. And that's the power of just doing everything by hand. Okay. A question from Jiva is, will you teach the entire LLM development for free or paid? So this course is going to be some part of it is going to be free. Maybe the agentic AI, I'm not sure would be free, but at least the foundation, the Python and the maths, all of that is going to be free. Okay, so I'll try to keep that. All right. Yeah, that's correct. Augustine, that I was referring you to this course. Yes, yes. Okay. Just take a look at the curriculum. That's the curriculum that you should follow. And one is following the curriculum, other is following a psychology. No matter where you're studying, no matter what course you are attending, my honest request to everybody is be hands-on. Don't just learn or memorize an idea or a concept. Learn to build it with your hands. Learn to know how to create things by yourself. Okay? Learn, instead of memorizing a formula, learn to derive a formula. Okay? Instead of memorizing a formula, learn to derive a formula and take a look at something that I've been working on. It's called learnbyinventing.com. Okay? Learnbyinventing.com. So that's where I talk about how do you learn by inventing. Tejvi, can you make me, I'm not able to chat with everyone.
Yes,
All
Sandeep,
right.
you can.
Okay. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I am here. You can just take a look at this is me. Okay. So these are some of the links that you can keep with you. Uh, one is you can also write. Basically I write on my blog. you can take a look at my philosophy or learning by inventing. Okay, so yeah, essentially that's how the course is, and I'm very happy that I've been able to, inculcate that psychology in my students, that basically they, instead of memorizing any formula, they invent the formula. Okay. And that's so powerful that, they never, like the people who attend the course, they never fail in their life, right? If one, they become recession proof. They become recession proof. They are able to learn new technology. They're able to learn almost everything by themselves. Okay. A question from Dhanraj is what should the configuration of laptop we need for this? You don't need basically a configuration of a laptop. You don't need a high-end laptop, just okay laptop, because we will be using either Google Colab or our own lab. Okay. So you can just use Google Colab. That seems to do a pretty good job. Okay. A question from Muhammad is, can machine learning in deep learning make consciousness systems in terms of code or in systems alive? Like, uh, there's just too many questions. Okay. Okay. So I don't want to answer the consciousness question. Okay. Or, right, because I'm not a philosopher, I'm not, I, everybody has a difference of opinion when it comes to consciousness. So I will not be able to answer that. Right. So now, like database in Snowflake or Databricks, I did not get like how is the consciousness connected to Snowflake? I'm not sure. With Python, MySQL, yeah. I think just reach out to me one-on-one. That'll be better. Okay. All right. All right. So yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn or something. Then I think I'll answer your question. I think your questions d- require much more work. Okay. A question from Kotres is that how is Learn by Inventing course different from machine learning AI course? So all the course that we deliver, they have the format of Learn by Inventing, right? Like the example that we had in the first session, you learn information theory by inventing the number system, by inventing the encoding decoding scheme. Okay, so that's how the philosophy of learn by inventing goes. If you take a look at the learnbyinventing.com, right? Say, for example, reinforcement learning here, right? So the reinforcement learning is a machine learning chapter. This is in the format of learn by inventing. The entire course is in that format. The entire of our course is in the format of learn by inventing. Almost everything, like for example, information theory is one of the chapters of machine learning. This is, instead of giving you the algorithm to memorize, you invent your algorithm by solving small questions at a time. Okay. So this this work of like 12 years, like I've been teaching for last 12 years to all the people, and I've taught around 300,000 people in the world so far. And I found that I've been like, after building lots of systems, we built the cloud-based lab, we built the automated assessment, we built all sorts of tools, we built so many slides, so many exercises, and so on and so forth. That's I've been doing this for last 12 years. I found that learn by inventing is the best way to learn. Okay. This technique is the best way to learn because in this course, my nephews, my own son, everybody is joined this course. And this is the only way I find that people in past have succeeded is by learning in a new way where you basically don't memorize the formula. You want to learn Pythagoras theorem? Don't memorize the formula. Instead, create the formula. And that's where I come in. I give you exercises. By solving those exercises, you will come up with your own formula. And that's the beauty of learn by inventing. That changes you forever. That brings that brings a change in you. You start looking at the world in a very different way. Okay. The next question is, which book would you recommend for Agentic AI course? Right now, don't worry about the book. Focus on learning Python, and then the links that I've shared, just go through them. All right. Wonderful. I'm looking forward to see you in my course. And yeah, I guarantee this part to all of you that given the fact that the software engineering is at a big juncture, right? The only way you can have a brilliant career, the only way you can have a brilliant career when you think of yourself as an inventor about everything. Let's say area of triangle. How, instead of memorizing the formula, how would you calculate the area of triangle? Like from the fundamental. So it's a psychological shift. It's an absolute psychological shift. Okay. So yes, that would be my humble request to everybody. So work on, work on this psychology that instead of memorizing formula, I would invent a formula. That's the psychology you should all work with. All right. So thank you, everyone, and wonderful set of questions. I'm very impressed by your questions, and I'm looking forward to see you next week at the same time. All right. So take a look at, reach out to me at LinkedIn. That's me, Sandeep Giri. And yeah, all right. Then, yeah, to know more about me, you have my girisandeep.com. And yeah, like I have mentioned and worked on lots of l- year learn by inventing. If you go to learn by inventing, this is the core idea. Then basically these are the various things like for example here, right? I designed these maths exercises for Pythagoras theorem. You invent your own method. Okay. So instead of giving you the formula, you derive the formula and then finally you will reach in the end. Okay. So that's a whole idea about this. Wonderful set of question and have a good day. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.